Salutations, everyone, and thank you for watching episode 38 of DiabeticRadio.com. Today's episode I call No, It's Not a Free Credit Card. And this episode is pretty much about health insurance and some of the things that I think you guys really need to know. You get your health insurance, from your employer, and you go to the doctor and you just show them your card, and most people don't think anything about it, but that card is not a credit card or a license to get any any procedures you desire to get. There are limitations to that card, and most people don't know what their insurance covers, what it does and what it doesn't. And it amazes me because, not too long ago I was at the pharmacy and I saw this woman really complaining about the fact that she had to pay a $5 copay on her medication. And I said to myself, my Lord, if she only knew how much I pay for my medication, because I have a high deductible, she would have just paid that $5 and just run. There's a lot of people out here who don't even have insurance, and they're paying upwards of $200 and $300 and $400 a month, sacrificing their meals, sacrificing their foods in order to buy their medications. And yet you have some people that complain about paying a $5 copay. A lot of people think that their insurance stops at the copay level. They just simply go to their doctor. You're insured. Yes. Where's your card? They show them their card. They fill out the paperwork, and they leave. Or what do I owe? $20, and they're set. But there's a lot more that goes in to your insurance. It's more than just the copays. One thing that you guys have to understand about your insurance is that it is a business. Insurance is not something that you have a right to or that you are owed insurance. Insurance is a privilege. And the only reason why you are able to have health insurance and to have coverage is because the insurance company is a business and they're out there to make money. Unfortunately, because of the high rise in diabetes and other illnesses, insurance companies, including the bigger insurance companies, are losing a lot of money. Here's what you need to understand. There are primarily three ways that an insurance company makes money. The first way they make money is premiums. Your employer pays big bucks, big premiums every month to that insurance company to give you the kinds of insurances that you have right now. Second, the insurance company is betting or banking on the fact that you will never get sick, or you don't have a chronic illness or a life-threatening illness that would require them to pay a large sums of money for your medical care. The last thing is that they take that money that they make from the premiums that they get from your employer to invest in the stock market, be it gold, be it silver, or sometimes they take that money and invest in other companies. And depending on what your employer can afford, that will make a difference in the kinds of insurances you get. It's very important for you to do the work. It's not your employer's job. It's not the hospital's job. It's not your doctor's job. It's not the receptionist's job. It's your job to read through your insurance material and find out what is covered. Don't assume that just because you have an insurance card, oh, I got it made, I'm covered. No, not everything is covered. And even if you do have good insurance, there's a lot of procedures that have to go through that are subject to approval, and there are some approvals that may not happen, because it costs too much money, or whoever is reviewing the claim makes their own professional or maybe personal decision as to what they think, whether that procedure may or may not be necessary. And then you get into this whole thing of how getting legal representation and all of this. But all of this is because the insurance company is a business. Understand that key word. The insurance company is a business. They're not welfare. They're not a hookup company that can hook you up with anything you want, all your medical needs. They are a business, and there are limitations to that business. And you have to find out what your insurance covers, what they don't. And like I said, even if you have a good insurance, sometimes they may cover everything, but you may find out one day that it doesn't cover eye care, which is a very important thing for all of us diabetics, or they don't cover dental. Fortunately, thank goodness that most places that you walk into, in terms of getting eye care, if you walk into an eye place, for an examination, they usually don't cost that much, thank God. But even when you're on a fixed income, $60, $70 to spend in a year may still be a lot. But it's not as expensive as what you could be paying for your medications and whatnot. It's so important for you not to wait till the last minute to find out what your insurance covers and what it doesn't, especially if you have children. I think it would be in your best interest if your grandparents are still alive, or even your great-grandparents are still alive. Ask them about any health conditions that they are aware of that's in your family. Find out if there's any traces of diseases that are specific to your what is the word I'm looking for? Your ethnicity, and there's nothing to be embarrassed about, Type 2 diabetes or diabetes is just a fact that more people of color are affected by diabetes. Same is true for sickle cell anemia. Haven't heard that for a while, huh? Sickle cell anemia is specific to, at least at one time, it was specific to African Americans. But I suspect now, in this day and age, as our races intermix and we're having more and more interracial relationships, I think it's even more important that we find out our family history and find out what's in our genes, so that when you go to these health insurances and start reading through the material, this is an important thing to know, so that you can find out what possibly you may be dealing with in the near future. Now, granted, I don't have any children, but I can't imagine what more frightening feeling that someone could possibly get than being in a hospital. You see your child in a hospital bed, not knowing what the hell is going on, and the doctor comes in and says the procedure's not covered. I can't imagine anything more frightening. So I think it's really, really important. I beg all parents and for yourself to find out do some research and find out what kind of illnesses that may possibly be in your family, and find out what's covered under your insurance. It can possibly save your life. While this new healthcare bill still has a lot of issues and oftentimes still is extremely ambiguous to most Americans, the fact of the matter is, like Obama or not, he has made a he's done something monumental that no other president that I can think of has even attempted to do, at least successfully, and that is to tackle the health care bill. And like I said, while it has issues, the one thing that's great about that bill is that every American now is entitled to health coverage. No American will be left behind or stuck out there. No one can choose to not cover you for any pre-existing condition. And this is something that's very powerful. You know, for people that don't have chronic illnesses like diabetes or cancer or any of those things, you know, you don't think about it. So, you know, one doesn't understand just how important that is. You know, because again, health insurance is a business, it is a form of discrimination, health discrimination, and to some extent, class discrimination. So this is a huge triumph, despite the issues that still exist in the healthcare bill. No one's going to really like it, no matter what Obama comes up with. And for as long as you got the Democrats and the Republicans with two very different views fighting against each other with ideologies and you know, things like that, you know, no one's going to be satisfied. You know, but I think this, having every American covered, having every American having the right to have health insurance, that in itself is a huge, huge triumph, aside from the issues that still exist with the healthcare bill. But in truth, we really not going to know what works and what won't work until 10, 15, maybe even 20 years into the new healthcare reform. You know, what makes this so important is that, I mean, you may not realize this, that although every American is now by law entitled to health care insurance, keep in mind again that the health care insurance is still a business. They can give you that health coverage, but they can also turn around and rewrite their health care coverage to reduce the amount of coverage that you have, because again, they are a business. And one thing that's important to me as a person of color is that this, if the healthcare reform if the healthcare would have stayed the way it was before, knowing that the fact is that diabetes is the one disease that affects African Americans the most, it would have been, you may not realize it or think of it as this way, but it brings on a new level of discrimination, a kind of discrimination that's so interweaved that, you know, it's not so easily prevalent. You know, you may not really realize it, you know, because because African Americans are the most affected by diabetes, you would have so many diabetics, African American people not getting the medications that they so desperately need. Not only that, they wouldn't be able to get the education that they need to know how to take care of their diabetes by their doctors, because they wouldn't be able to get the coverage that they need to see their doctors. And if you've been looking at my site and looking at my videos and reading my posts, you would know that I worked very hard to let it be known and to teach people that you can get diabetes, any kind of diabetes, regardless of your color, your weight, your size, whether you're a man, you're a woman. There's no one group that holds a specific type. That's why I hate labels so much. I hate labels so much. I hope you guys really, really get this. And it also reminds me of when I went to Hunter College, when Katie invited me to Hunter College, and we talked about the kinds of discrimination and things that we go through as diabetics, and also we talked about people with mental disabilities, and a woman that talked about how she was applied for Medicaid. She couldn't get Medicaid. She went to a hearing, and they still denied her. And that very day at Hunter College, she discovered that if she would have let known that she was a type 1 diabetic and she was African American, that she would have been fully covered. See, and that's another type of discrimination against type 2 people, as though you don't deserve us as an insurance company to pay for your medications because you don't need it. You've done this to yourself. Type 1s is different because they couldn't help it. And there's so much education that needs to be done everywhere, from the insurance company to the hospitals to law enforcement. Yes, even law enforcement, because law enforcement, they still, if someone who's type 1 that's been incarcerated or arrested for a crime that they did, they often take your insulin away from you. And it's nothing more frightening to be insulin dependent and have someone take your insulin away. That definitely needs to be changed. But anyway, back to my point is that bottom line is, find out for you. It's no one else's job to do that research for you. Find out what is covered. Look at specifically at the possible diseases or conditions that existed in your family history, so that you can find out beforehand what's covered and what isn't, and have some kind of game plan should it happen. Don't look at it as, oh, well, that's not going to happen to me, I feel fine. And this is precisely why a lot of diabetics suffer from complications. Because since they feel okay, I don't need to take medications, I don't need to take shots. And they totally underestimate the devastation that diabetes can cause in their lives. Do the work, do the research, and read, and ask questions. If your answer is not in your insurance material, the insurance company is just a phone call away. Call and ask the questions that you need, and as well as ask your doctor any questions that you feel needs to be answered. And also, I should add that if the doctor feels that you need a particular procedure done, if it's not life-threatening, it doesn't hurt to call up the insurance company and ask whether it's covered before you have the procedure done. Because you have to remember, when you have a procedure done at the hospital, it's like services rendered. It's almost the same thing of, when you go to a restaurant, they prepare the food and you eat the food and you find out that you don't like it. You're not getting your money back. That food has been prepared for you. You're paying for services. So if you have something done and the insurance company says it's not covered, you're still responsible for that bill, for paying that bill. So it's always a good idea to call ahead and to think ahead and to be prepared. I hope this has been helpful for you, and I hope this has really opened your eyes when it comes to insurance. And, remember to love yourself for the person that you are. Forgive yourself for any mistakes that you will continue to make, and keep positive people around you, because that's what's going to help you with your diabetes in the long run. And I really enjoy doing these videos, and I look forward to next time. Bye.